Okay, how we doing, folks? Rich Van Tassel with you, giving you our game picks for now Week 7 of the NFL season. Of course, we are recording audio for Get Live Radio. Two bye weeks this week, the Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. Our first game up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-3, 0-2 on the road, travel to Buffalo to play the Bills, who are 3-2, 2-0 at home. Injuries for the visiting Buccaneers. Jameis Winston, the quarterback, questionable. The rest are also questionable. Ryan Russell, defensive end. Levante David, linebacker. TJ Ward, safety. And Noah Spence, defensive end. For the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Matthews, wide receiver. EJ Gaines, cornerback, questionable. Ramon Humbert, linebacker, is out. Tampa Bay is not living up to expectations. Buffalo maybe a bit on the higher side of expectations this year. They come off their bye week and a disappointing loss prior to that. Buffalo is a team that, if they want to have any shot to win that division, is going to have to beat a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that is reeling a bit, is not good on the road, and they have to beat them at home. It's really as simple as that. Tyrod Taylor pretty proficient this year, keeping his interceptions down, on only 2 interceptions this year. I'd still like to see a little bit more of LaShawn McCoy. He doesn't have 4 yards per carry yet. I wonder about that injury with Jameis Winston. It's his throwing arm, so let's see what he can get done moving forward in this game. It should be a Buffalo victory. I like 20-17 in a close game. The Buffalo Bills at times this year have shown the ability to win those big games, as seen in the Atlanta victory. They won on the road, but then they lost a tough game right before their bye week in Cincinnati. So it's an interesting game. Buffalo has to have it. They get it 20-17 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Carolina Panthers, 4-2, a very impressive 3-0 on the road. Travel to Chicago to play the Bears, who are 2-4, 1-2 at home. Injuries for the visiting Carolina Panthers, all questionable. Julius Peppers, defensive end. Cam Newton, quarterback. Charles Johnson, defensive end. Thomas Davis, linebacker. Kelvin Benjamin, wide receiver. For the Chicago Bears, Kevin White, a wide receiver, is an injury reserve out. Marcus Wheaton, another wide receiver, is also out. The rest are questionable. John Timu, linebacker. Sherrick McManus, cornerback. Tanner Gentry, wide receiver. For the Chicago Bears, Mike Lennon still leads the way in passing. Of course, the situation has been turned over to Mitchell Trubisky there. Trubisky has been inconsistent. He's shown flashes he can play. I wouldn't worry about Trubisky moving forward. It's pretty obvious he has what it takes to play in the NFL. It just isn't coming along on a more consistent basis, but certainly he's showing at times what, why the reason the Chicago Bears traded up to get him at the number 2 overall pick. So I don't necessarily worry about that as far as him moving forward, but the rest of the season it is going to be tough for him at times. He's without 2 receivers, so it's going to limit him just a bit. Howard, of course, is running the ball very well out of the running back spot for the Chicago Bears. They're going to rely heavily on him without the wide receivers. With Carolina, can they continue their road winning ways? I would expect that they would. Cam Newton high in the interceptions. They've really abandoned that short passing, quick passing game. They're just going with what their offense is. Let's see if he runs the ball more. Jonathan Stewart, under 3 yards per carry, so they've got to figure that out. If the running backs are not going to be able to do it, they're going to rely heavily on Cam Newton. He's got to limit the interceptions. I don't think Chicago's defense, especially in the secondary, is going to come up with many interceptions in this game or force Cam Newton into turnovers. And I like Carolina to have a fairly easy victory in this one as Chicago struggles to find the end zone. I like 24-13. The Tennessee Titans, 3-3, run 1-2 on the road, travel to Cleveland to play the Browns, who are really struggling there, 0-6, 0-3 at home. Injuries first for the visiting Titans. Corey Davis, wide receiver. Jonathan Cyprien, safety, are out. Derek Morgan, a pass rushing linebacker, and DeMarco Murray, the running back, are questionable. For the Cleveland Browns, all listed as questionable. Joe Thomas, offensive tackle. Jamar Taylor, cornerback. Danny Shelton, nose tackle. Jabril Peppers, safety. And Jamie Metter, defensive end. So a lot of injuries to the defensive side of the ball for the Cleveland Browns. Of course, I expect questionables to go, but if some of them can't go, and they're better players. I know it's tough to say for an 0-6 team, really, who are better players and who are not. But even for a bad team, guys like Danny Shelton, Jabril Peppers, of course, the rookie, and Jamar Taylor is a starting cornerback. So if any of them can't go, it would make it even more difficult for a team that is already up against the 8 ball. Derrick Henry is coming along very nicely running the ball for the Tennessee Titans. Even if DeMarco Murray can't go, look for him to get a bulk of the carries. Well, especially if DeMarco Murray can't go, but even if DeMarco Murray does play, look for him to get a bulk of the carries. I'd still like to see Marcus Mariota throw the ball downfield a little bit. He's going to be without Corey Davis, one of his wide receivers, so that will limit him a little bit. But I would expect in this game, it's not going to be where they really try to fool around with the Cleveland Browns. They're going to run the ball and do what they do. They may take some shots at times, Tennessee that is, but it's a situation where you're not going to fool around against an 0-6 team and try to make mistakes. But who knows? Anything could happen. I wouldn't expect that. I'd expect a heavy dose of Derrick Henry, Marcus Mariota running the ball, looking for Delanie Walker as well, his tight end and his favorite target. And Tennessee is going to come away with the victory. Cleveland's offense just doesn't have it. I would expect that Myles Garrett will continue to flourish. He's played well since coming back from injuries. But all in all, Tennessee just too talented to let a game like this go. I like 27-10 over the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland continues to struggle to find their offense, and look for Hogan to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in this game. The New Orleans Saints, 3-2, 2-1 on the road, travel to Green Bay to play the Packers. The Packers are 4-2. They are 3-0 at home. Injuries first for the visiting New Orleans Saints. Nathan Stupar, a linebacker, is an injury reserve out. Terran Armstead, an offensive tackle, and Willie Snead, a wide receiver, are questionable. For the Green Bay Packers, Lane Taylor, guard, is questionable, and all are questionable. DeMaurice Randall, cornerback, Lindsey Pipkins, cornerback, Nick Perry, linebacker, and Quentin Dial, defensive tackle. So again, some injuries to the defensive side of the ball here as we're looking at Green Bay. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is out. Looking at the rest of the season, we don't know if he'll come back maybe towards the end. He's certainly not going to be back for any time soon, and he's not going to be playing in this game, so Hundley will get the start. New Orleans defense is actually coming along much better than I would have expected, and I feel many would have expected. Guys like Marshawn Lattimore are really getting the job done. Drew Brees, of course, is sensational this year. 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Only 67 incompletions on 182 passes, so he's playing very well. Now that Adrian Peterson's not there anymore, you have Mark Ingram running the ball. He's over 4 yards per carry. Of course, you have Kamara as well. They're trying to get him involved. And New Orleans, when they run the ball, they can keep their defense off the field. Even as good as their offense is, a lot of times Drew Brees is going right up and down the field, so you're scoring points, but you're putting the defense right back on the field, that is, because you're just going up and down the field so fast. So if they can continue to establish that running game, they're going to have much more success. They're going on the road to play this game without Aaron Rodgers. Let's see what Hundley can do. I would expect a heavy dose of Aaron Jones. He's got to find his playmakers. You can't completely abandon the offense, though, because that's what Green Bay does. All in all, though, without Aaron Rodgers, I don't see Green Bay being able to come away with this victory. And I like New Orleans to score a lot of points against a suspect Green Bay defense. I think Green Bay will score a little bit, but certainly not enough. And I like 31-21, the New Orleans Saints getting the road victory over the Green Bay Packers. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit to continue on with our game picks for now Week 7 of the NFL season. Stay tuned. Thank you.